Let's get it poppin', man, I'm simply ball dropping. Let's get it poppin', man, I'm simply ball dropping. You must love us cause you can't stop watching. You must love us cause you can't stop watching. Let's get it poppin', man, I'm simply ball dropping like it's New Year's Eve. Boy, it's James IV, that's Roman numeral 4 off the top with the intro. What up, K-Sap, no cap, that's the big bro. You know the ladies hold it down for the team. We be the hottest on this YouTube screens. We got sports, media, news, that round table talk. Them other parts ain't got the same sauce. Nah, hit us in the chat, but no haters allowed. Send you to the block party, what you gotta say now? We on live, hit us up and subscribe. If you like it to share, show love instead of staring. Man behind the mic, numbers don't lie. Send me a super chat to all that may apply. Ain't no party like an SBD party. Let's get the show started, pull up, everybody. Let's get it poppin', man, I'm simply ball dropping. Let's get it poppin', man, I'm simply ball dropping. You must love us cause you can't stop watching. You must love us cause you can't stop watching.
Yes. You know who it is. It's your favorite host, the man behind the mic of the Simply Ball Dropping Podcast. K-Sap, what's up? Yeah, you know what it is. You see the title of the show. This is insane. Breaking news. Cleveland Browns are just a bad football team. Y'all come on up in here, man. Let's talk about it. Y'all come on up in here, man. Don't hide. Y'all come on up in here. Once you get up in here, man, do me a favor. Drop a like on the video. That's what I want y'all to do. Drop a like on the video. Y'all get up in here. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about what we saw today. Let's talk about the bad day Shedeur Sanders had today. You know what I'm saying? And you look across the board, and I'm going to put this disclaimer out here that football team is terrible. That offensive line is terrible. The makeshift offensive line, because it's kind of diabolical that Quinshon Judkins can't even get the run game going. Every time it seems like they hand the ball off, the defensive line is already in the backfield. It is crazy. And this is 3 weeks straight that Shedeur Sanders has been the leading rusher for the Cleveland Browns. They can't even get the run game going. The wide receivers can't even get open outside of Isaiah Bond. That's why he's always locked in on Harold Fannin Jr., because he trusts him. He's the only one getting open. Jerry Jeudy is just not that guy. You saw the pinpoint dot that Shedeur Sanders threw him in the end zone, right off his hands, right off his chest, and he let the DB take it away from him. Shedeur Sanders had 3 picks on the day. 2 of them was, a nice read by the defense. And he had a bad day today. Was sacked 4 times, had a bad day today. But that team as a whole is a bad football team. You cannot make this up. That team is terrible from the organization all the way down. Nobody can get open for Shedeur Sanders. Jerry Jeudy can't. It's like he's stuck in the mud running routes. Isaiah Bond is the only one that gets open for Shedeur Sanders. And you see the plays that are downfield and getting it off. He's making nice passes down the field. But that offensive line, the makeshift offensive line that they have now, is terrible. Now you look across the board. Let's talk about Joe Burrows today. Joe Burrows, 2 picks, didn't even score against the Baltimore Ravens. Let's talk about what Patrick Mahomes is going through. Don't nobody want to talk about that. Let's talk about what Jalen Hurts did last week. 4 picks. Patrick Mahomes had 3. But everybody wants to come in here and pass judgment on, y'all say, a 5th round draft choice. A 5th round draft choice. So that's keep it a buck. That's keep it a buck. If you're going to judge Shedeur's performance today with a bad football team, him out there trying to make plays, I don't want to hear it. I do not want to hear it. This team is bad. From the start of the game, you give him the wrong wristband with the plays on it, where you had to, take a delay a game to start the game out. The special teams is terrible, and everything is just bad from top to bottom. But y'all want to blame Shedeur Sanders. That's what y'all want to do. Y'all want to blame Shedeur Sanders for everything that goes on in Cleveland. Shedeur is not the problem. They need to build around Shedeur Sanders, man. They need to go get you some offensive linemen. They need to go get you a wide receiver. They need to try to free up that money that Deshaun Watson got. They need to make some moves, man, because this is terrible. They got no running game, and I told you guys, but y'all don't want to believe me. I told you guys that the Cleveland Browns defense outside of Myles Garrett is no good. It's no good. And we not making no excuses for nothing, but this team is bad across the board. You started off the game giving your quarterback the wrong wristband for the plays, and you had to take a delay of game out the start of the game. And then you get yourself in a situation where you starting at the inch line and you had 2 false starts called. This is sad. Like, you can blame Shedeur all you want, and that's what the haters going to do. Y'all can go ahead and blame him all you want. But this is terrible. The makeshift offensive line that they got in there now is terrible. You can go say that the picks that Shedeur threw was bad. Yeah, they was bad. But the one that he threw to Jerry Jeudy and the defender stole the ball from Jerry Jeudy, it goes down on the quarterback stats, but put that on Jerry Jeudy. Put that on Jerry Jeudy. And like I told y'all, outside of Myles Garrett on defense, that defense is horrible. They let these running backs just gash them for yards after yards, missing tackles and everything. And the crazy thing about it is, you see when Shedeur Sanders gets a chance to throw the ball on a clean pocket, even the ones that he threw to Isaiah Bond down the field, he still was getting hit. It hasn't been a time where Shedeur Sanders has unloaded a deep ball where he's been knocked to the ground. Every time he was handing the ball off to Quinshon Judkins, the defensive line was already in the backfield. They could not even get started. No blocking. The defense, the DBs was getting ate up. This is crazy. Like, y'all want to come in here and say, oh, it's Shedeur's fault. Nah, look at it as a whole. Look at it as a whole. They need to get some pieces around Shedeur ASAP. Y'all can come in here and you can talk about, oh, they need to draft a quarterback. Mendoza is not going to do nothing special for Cleveland if you got this same diabolical coaching staff and you got this same diabolical offensive line that's going to try to protect him. It ain't going to work. At least what we've shown from Shedeur Sanders, he's going to keep fighting. And the throws that he throws down the field, you can see that he can make a play. But when Dylan Gabriel was in there We see that Dylan can't make a play when he was getting protection. At least Dylan Gabriel was playing behind an offensive line that was intact. Shedeur Sanders is playing with an offensive line that is makeshift. People in and out of the lineup. They can't even block. Every time you turn around to hand the ball off, the defensive front is already in the backfield. The defensive front is already in the backfield. Like I said, every time Shedeur got a chance to throw the ball down the field, he was still getting knocked to the ground. Oh, Mendoza would have been rattled. He would have been rattled because Mendoza don't show me nothing special. So everybody that wants to come in there and glaze, like Eugene Moats 9921, you a clown. You are a straight clown because you don't know football. You want to come in here and try to blame Shedeur Sanders for what you saw today. That is clown behavior. You're fandom. That's what you are. And we expose people like you because you're a clown. You are a clown. For you to come in here and focus solely on Shedeur Sanders, that's clown behavior. Take the hate out your heart, man. Take the hate out your heart. This is what we're gonna deal with today. We got to deal with this today. And I got time today. Because if y'all want to come in here and start talking about blame Shedeur for everything that the Browns went through today, that means you just a hater. You just a troll. You just a clown. That's clown behavior. That's fandom. And that goes to show that the offensive line was non-existent today because Quinshon Judkins could never get off the ground. And you tell me 2 weeks straight that your quarterback had to lead your team in rushing. This is diabolical. Thank you. Thank you. He led the team 3 weeks straight from yards from scrimmage on the ground. But you give Shedeur Sanders time, and he going to get the ball down the field. Harold Fanning is the only one that he really trusts, him and Isaiah Bond. Jerry Jeudy, I don't know what's going on with Jerry Jeudy. Jerry Jeudy has completely sold this whole season, and it is crazy. But see, this is the type of energy these people be on. When Jerry Jeudy dropped the pass that Joe Flacco threw to him, nobody said, oh, that was on Joe Flacco. That was all on Jerry Jeudy. But now that it's Shedeur Sanders, oh, blame Shedeur. The quick way is to blame Shedeur. This is crazy. They need to go get some offensive linemen. What they need to do is try to offload Deshaun Watson's contract. Find a buyer for that. They need some piece. They need at least 2 offensive linemen, and they also need themselves a wide receiver. That's what they need, man. And if I'm Cleveland, I'm reaching out to my Minnesota Vikings to try to get Justin Jefferson, because Justin Jefferson is not satisfied on what's going on out there in Minnesota with that quarterback situation. Do you think that Travis Hunter or LeJontay Wester or Jimmy Horn Jr. drops that ball? This is what I'm talking about. Jerry Jeudy, the ball was right in your chest, right on your hands, and you let the DB take it away from you. That's the problem. Don't focus on Shedeur. Cleveland got the quarterback they need. They need to build around him. Because if you guys come in here talking about Shedeur Sanders is not the quarterback for Cleveland, y'all just some straight haters and some straight clowns. This is all I'm talking about. Because you can't sit there and blame Shedeur Sanders for some of the plays that are happening with the Cleveland Browns. And every time Shedeur Sanders throws the ball, He is always on the ground. The 2 bombs that he threw to Isaiah Bond today that he caught, he still got knocked down. And see, y'all don't want to talk about all these other quarterbacks around here that are veterans. Look at Joe Burrows. Joe Burrows got shut out by the Baltimore Ravens. Got shut out by the Baltimore Ravens. He threw 2 picks. Let's talk about what Kenny Pickett did with the Las Vegas Raiders today. Y'all don't want to talk about that. Let's talk about how Patrick Mahomes stunk it up again today. Let's talk about how Jalen Hurts stunk it up last week with 4 picks. Let's talk about how Patrick Mahomes, the veteran, the MVP, the Super Bowl winning quarterback, stunk it up last week. Patrick Mahomes been stinking it up for the last 4 weeks of the season. But y'all want to come in here on a 5th round pick talking about, oh, he's not the quarterback. Come on now. Miss me with that. We got time today. We got a lot to get off our chest. And this goes out to all the Shedeur Sanders haters. And the only reason why they hate Shedeur Sanders is because we stand 10 toes down when we talk about Shedeur Sanders, because we know what Shedeur Sanders is about. Nitro, you another clown. You come up in here with your clown takes talking about Shedeur is trash. You another clown. You know nothing about football. You just a Shedeur hater. You need some attention. That's all. You come in here for attention. And if you want the attention, we're going to give it to you. Y'all just clowns. Y'all just mad because Dylan Gabriel ain't in there no more. That's y'all's problem. But if you look at football for what it is, you got to look at it through all facets of the game. Special teams is trash. The offensive line is trash. The coaching staff is trash. The offensive line is diabolical. The defense ain't all what y'all thought it was cracked up to be outside of Myles Garrett. Myles Garrett is the only one out there making an effort. Rest of them out there missing tackles. The point of contact, they can't even make tackles. They was on rollerblades today. Deontay Swift was making them look bad. The tight end Lovely was making the DBs look bad. Caleb Williams throwing miracle plays in the back of the end zone to DJ Moore. And he comes down with the ball because your defense can't get it. And another clown that comes up in here, the Oakland Trap House, talking about why did he throw 3 interceptions. You watch the game. You tell me why he threw the 3 interceptions. This is crazy work. Y'all see what it is. Y'all see what it is. Even when Shedeur Sanders throws the ball and the receivers catch the ball, he's still getting knocked down to the ground. They don't even have no protection for Shedeur. They don't even have max protection. The play calling is horrendous. You can't even get your running game going. The running game is terrible. And the fact of the matter is, like I started this show off for everybody that just got in here, I told y'all, I put the disclaimer out there. Shedeur Sanders played bad today. But we're not just going to focus on Shedeur Sanders. We're going to focus on what the topic at hand is. Overall, this is just a bad Cleveland Browns football team. You got your quarterback. You just need to build around him. It's so bad that won't y'all ask Quinshon Judkins why come he can't get his run game going? Won't y'all ask Quinshon Judkins that? Why come he can't get off the snide? Because every time he gets the ball, the defensive line is already in the backfield. Already in the backfield. Like, this is terrible. And for you guys to come in here and just want to talk about Shedeur's trash, and that's the only soliloquy y'all got, y'all clowns. And that's just the bottom line, man. That's clown behavior. You can't justify clown behavior, man, because y'all speak out of hatred. Y'all don't speak facts. Y'all do not speak facts, man. Now, if y'all want to have a real conversation, put something in the chat and we can have a conversation. But see, we expose clowns that come into the chat and want to y'all putting these narratives out there. Because y'all heard what Jonathan Peterlin said about the narrative that Ross Tucker and Mary Kay put out there, talking about we should give Kevin Stefanski all the praise for the development of Shedeur Sanders. That's a narrative. Now, if that's the case, if they want to give him the praise and they put that narrative out there, then Kevin Stefanski got to take responsibility for the way Shedeur played today. Y'all can't have it both ways. We got time today. 2 games in a row against the Tennessee Titans and the Chicago Bears. Shedeur Sanders is your leading rusher. This is crazy. So if y'all want to praise Kevin Stefanski the way y'all want to ride the narrative with Ross Tucker and Mary Kay Cabot talking about Shedeur Sanders, all the credit should go to Kevin Stefanski? Well, Kevin Stefanski needs to take accountability for the day's, play of Shedeur Sanders. And this is what I'm trying to tell you. See, when you expose the clowns, they go running. They go channel hopping. All they want to do is put the honey on the chest and start glazing all over the place. That's what they waiting for. They waited for a day like this so they can put the honey on their chest and start twerking all over the place. Because when you call a hater out, they go running. We got time today. Because I tell you one thing, last week we ain't see no hater around. Everybody wanted to duck and hide. Everybody had their butt cheeks tucked. No diddy. But now when you expose these clowns, when they come around, they want to run for the border. But we got time today. We ain't running from nowhere. You know where I'm at. Y'all know exactly where I'm at. Y'all know exactly where I'm at. I stand 10 toes down. You can't knock me off my pedestal. So if you want to come in here acting clownish, we're going to treat you like a clown. Clown behavior. Y'all don't even talk with no sense. Y'all have no logic to what y'all say. The first thing y'all come in here, Shedeur is trash. Come on, man. I agree with that, Amber. Go get Justin Jefferson. I'm a Minnesota Vikings fan, but I'm not mad at Justin Jefferson for wanting out. You sit there and watched it on national television on the special teams play where they down the ball at the inch line and you want to challenge the play and lose your timeout, knowing that the dude did not touch it after he already downed it. That's the bad thing about it. And then you started off and you got the wrong wristband for your quarterback, and then you had to take a delay of game. You're already behind the chains. Like there was no sense of urgency on that sideline whatsoever. They need to get help. They need to get help. Y'all see it. Overall, this team is just bad. This Cleveland Browns football team is just bad, man. Everybody watched the Saturday Night Heisman with Francisco Mendoza. Everybody wants to jump on that coattail, talk about, Cleveland needs to go get Mendoza. Mendoza can't help nothing. If you got the same coaching staff and you got the same offensive line and you got this same defensive line, you're not going to do nothing. But look, hey, it is what it is. Y'all can pile on Shedeur all y'all want, man. Y'all can pile on Shedeur all y'all want, man. It ain't going to change nothing. Shedeur Sanders is what Cleveland needs. They need to build around Shedeur. This is crazy. Like, I mean, it just got out of hand today, man. It got out of hand. And when you see Caleb Williams running around just throwing the ball and your defense can't make plays, man. He just threw the ball into the back of the end zone to DJ Moore. And you tell me that the DBs couldn't come up with a pick? He was going toward the sideline and threw that across his body. Miracle plays. This is what I'm saying. Everybody wants to come in here and pinpoint the blame on Shedeur. Y'all can do what y'all want to do. But did y'all look across the board on how these quarterbacks played today? Quarterbacks have bad days, man. Shedeur had a bad day. But hey, Patrick Mahomes had a bad day today. Joe Burrow's had a bad day today. Kenny Pickett, the starter that Kevin Stefanski thought was going to be the starter for Cleveland, had a terrible day. Come on now. Jalen Hurts had a terrible day last week. 4 picks. But y'all swept that under the rug. And it's easy to look at Shedeur Sanders' 3 picks today and come in here and start ripping him apart, shredding him apart. The difference is Shedeur Sanders is a rookie coming into the league. These other guys been in the league for a minute. Jackson Dart had a terrible day. Yeah, he put the ball in the end zone, but he had a terrible day. But nobody want to talk about that. It's easy to put the blame on Shedeur Sanders. But that's what they do, chat. And you see what happened, chat? See, when I started exposing these little clowns, I don't see them no more. When I start exposing these clowns, I don't see them no more. See, I hate to do stuff like that. But when you come up into a chat and you just come in here with hatred in your heart, we knowing your intentions, we don't stand for that. This is crazy. Like, we go back to the pass that Shedeur threw to Jerry Jeudy in the end zone. He put it to, that was a perfect pass. A perfect pass. That was a perfect pass, man. And Jerry Jeudy just, and see, this is what I'm talking about. When you expose the haters and the clowns, this is what happens. Here's another clown that comes up in here. Marcus May, 7274. You a clown. You a straight clown. You have no football knowledge to you whatsoever. You are a straight clown. You want some attention? We're going to give you some attention today. You came to the right chat. You are a straight clown. Don't talk about Kenny Pickett. Kenny Pickett, like I said, 64 yards passing. The clowns are drowning themselves out. They getting that heat. You can tell he's a clown because he had to post what he posted 4 straight times. That's clown behavior. He got honey on his chest twerking right now. He's hopping chat to chat. Everybody that talks about Shedeur Sanders and the people that support Shedeur Sanders, he's going to everybody's chat with honey on his chest, twerking it up. Jesse Martinez, you another clown. And you can tell these are clowns because they ain't got no profile pictures. They got some AI generated joint. They clowns. If you was true and you can stand on your word, you would show your face. I'm showing my face. If you was true about it, you would show your face. Stop coming with these fake AI generated, images and stuff. This is what I'm talking about. They clowns. Nah, they not scared. They clowns. They AI generated bots, man. These are AI generated channels. Anybody can hide behind a keyboard. They keyboard hoes. That's what they are. They keyboard hoes. Anybody that comes up in here and starts talking that stuff, we're going to call them keyboard hoes. That's what they are, keyboard hoes. And if y'all look at it from a socially condensed lens, you'll see that the Cleveland Browns organization is trash, man. They are trash. That's right, Craig. They keyboard hoes, man. They keyboard hoes. Like I said, I ain't gonna back down off of my Shedeur takes, man. I'm standing on what is standing. Keyboard clowns hiding behind keyboard hoes. That's what they are, man. And see, when you talk about them, they run. They got nothing to come back with you on. Because I waited for this. This is why I went live. I waited for this. I wanted to talk about it. I wanted all the haters to report to the live. I wanted all the haters to report to the live. Because I got time today. I got time today. Because what they do is they wait for channels like us to go live or drop a video so they can come in here with honey on their chest and start twerking when Shedeur Sanders has a bad day. But you wait for people like that. You wait for people like that, and then you expose them. Then you expose them because you know how it started off. They started talking all this gibberish, but where are they at now? I expose them one by one. And the thing about it is the moderators, I don't want y'all to time none of them out. I don't want y'all to time nobody out. I want to let them have it. They're going to hear what we got to say today. Trill City. That's what I've been telling y'all guys. I've been telling people that want to listen. I told y'all that Cleveland Browns defense is not what y'all think it is outside of Myles Garrett. Outside of Myles Garrett and what Myles Garrett is doing, he is the only one that really impresses me on defense, him and Carson Schlesinger. I know Denzel Ward wasn't there today. But that defense as a whole, missing tackles, getting gashed with the run for the last 2 weeks. You got gashed by Tony Pollard. Now you got gashed by DeAndre Swift. Like you couldn't stop a nosebleed. They got their run. See, the difference is Chicago got their run game going today. And that opened up a little bit of passing for Caleb Williams to throw to his tight end Lovelace. Amber, I totally agree with that. Like the DBs, where was the DBs today? They woke up DJ Moore. DJ Moore ain't had a good game all year long. And DJ Moore just exploded on him. They let Lovelace kill him from the tight end position. See, people was giving Cleveland Browns defense a little bit too much credit. But outside of Myles Garrett, because you got to keep Myles Garrett happy, because if you don't keep Myles Garrett happy, he going to want out himself. And you don't want your defensive guy leaving that building. So anybody, y'all can come in here and say what y'all want to say about Shedeur Sanders. And it's crazy. You can say what you want to say about Shedeur Sanders. He had a bad game today. 170-some yards passing. 3 interceptions. We'll take that. But Shedeur Sanders was not the reason why this team lost. This team is bad all around. Special teams giving up good field position every time they punt the ball or they kick the ball off. That's the difference. The special teams can't hold water. They can't hold water. You started the game off on the inch line. Then you had 2 false starts to start the game. And then when you get a chance to get in good field position. You start with a false start because Shedeur Sanders had the wrong thing on his wrist. Diabolical. Diabolical. Like, and then for everybody to say, oh, this Shedeur Sanders got to prove himself for the last 4 games, miss me with that. He ain't got to prove nothing. He ain't got to prove nothing. You start the game off on the opening kickoff. You give up a 52-yard return to Devin Duvernay. Come on now. Exactly, J2. You got to get you offensive lineman and a receiver, man. You got to find a way to come off of that Deshaun Watson money, man. Deshaun Watson has to leave the building. Deshaun Watson got this Cleveland Browns football team handicapped, man. He got them in handcuffs, man. He got too much money, and you have nothing to show for it. Nothing to show for it. You need to get yourself at least 2 offensive linemen and a wide receiver. This is crazy. This is what I'm talking about. Oh yeah, Nate, they gonna keep Deshaun Watson. They're gonna keep him in the building. But I don't care what nobody say. I don't care who your quarterback is. I don't care if your quarterback is Patrick Mahomes. I don't care if your quarterback is Jalen Hurts. I don't care if your quarterback is Joe Burrows. I don't care if your quarterback is Matthew Stafford, Jared Goff. With this makeshift offensive line, and you can't get no protection, and the wide receivers can't get open, all of them going to look bad. All of them going to look bad. All quarterbacks throwing picks today, but y'all want to come up here and talk about Shedeur Sanders, and he's a rookie. How long has Matthew Stafford been in the league? And he's out there throwing picks already, just the start of the game. So I don't even want to hear this, y'all. Shea Boost, I just saw it. I just saw it on the big screen. See, this is what they do. They want to come in here and blame Shedeur. That's the easy thing to do. But the crazy thing about it is, and then the people commenting Stafford just threw a pick. And see, the easy thing to do is blame Shedeur. But I'll tell y'all one thing. Shedeur got y'all guys watching. He got y'all he got y'all watching so bad, and y'all want to wait for him to make a mistake, and then that's when y'all want to unload. That's when y'all want to unload. Another clown, Joey JRC, another clown. Another clown has entered the chat. You want to be a clown? We're going to treat you like a clown. That's the only thing you got to say? Where was you at last week when he threw for 364 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 1 rushing touchdown? Where was you at then? Talk to me Talk to me nice. Where was you at then? Where was you at then? But you want to come up in here and wait for these Shedeur Sanders, Cleveland Brown channels to go live. And you want to come up here with honey on your chest and start twerking it all up all over the place. Where was you at last week? Where was you at last week when he's the only rookie in the Super Bowl era outside of Joe Burrows to put up them numbers as a rookie? Where was you at last week? Let's talk about it. Where was you at last week, Joey? Joey, where was you at last week? Joey, I don't hear you. Where was you at last week? That is a direct question. Joey, what's a lie? Shedeur Sanders, the first rookie outside of Joe Burrows in the Super Bowl era to put up them numbers as a rookie. over 360 yards passing, 3 throwing touchdowns, and 1 rushing touchdown. See, this is what I'm talking. These keyboard hoes, man. These keyboard hoes. Joey JRC. What's the lie, sir? What's the lie? Put the lie in the chat. Put the lie in the chat. Matter of fact, Joey, I'll do you even one better. I'll open up the phone lines. And I'll put the phone lines at the bottom. And if you want to come up and talk to me nice, we can have a conversation. Amber, he ain't watched the game, so we moving on? Yeah, he got duct tape in his mouth. This is what they don't want to see. This is clown behavior, guys. They want to come in here with clown takes, man. Joey, some of the rookies that year had good games. Did you understand what I just said? Do I got to put the facts out there? I said Shedeur Sanders was the second rookie in the Super Bowl era outside of Joe Burrows to throw for over 360 yards, 3 throwing touchdowns, and 1 rushing touchdown. Do I got to break it down in layman terms? Are you stupid or are you naive? Shout out to the Dark Mini Park for the membership. Appreciate you joining the channel. Appreciate your support, my brother. Sam Darnold did not put up them numbers that Shedeur Sanders put up. You goofy. Google's your best friend. Go Google it. Go Google it. Where was you at last week when Shedeur put them numbers up? Go Google it. Shedeur, once again, I'm going to say this loud and clear for dumbass Joey. Shedeur Sanders is the second quarterback outside of Joe Burrows as a rookie to throw for over 360 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 1 rushing touchdown. Now, did you process that? I want you to process that, Joey, you clown. Yeah, Joey probably don't know how to spell it. See, this is what they do. You see what Joey trying to do? How many wins did the Titans have? That has nothing to do with it, you clown. I'm going to leave it alone. I'm not even entertaining Joey no more because he's a clown. He wants attention. See, these are the cats that don't get attention at home. They want to come in here looking for attention. A lot of empty stats. Boy, you a clown. Hey, y'all don't entertain Joey no more. I'm done with him. Joey has been cooked, sliced, and glazed. Don't even mention Joey's name no more. What y'all do is y'all just go ahead and block Joey. He don't deserve to come into a real sports chat. Get him up out of here. He's a clown. I give permission to my moderators to get this clown up out of here. Get him out of here. I mean, I want him banished for life. Banish him for life. He don't even know how to spell. He don't even know how to spell football people's names. He's a clown, a keyboard hoe. I told you Google was your best friend and you still didn't listen. Ban that trick for life. I tell you guys that they waited. But I expected a little bit of more hate, though. Banished for life. I expected a little bit more hate. But see, they don't want to deal with me today. I expected a little bit more people to come in here hating. I expected a little bit more people coming here hating on Shedeur, and I was ready for it. That's why I fired up the live. Because y'all know I don't run nowhere. I'm here 10 toes down after every game. The only game that I didn't go live on the after party was the game against the Raiders. That was the only game I didn't go live because I was out at AT&T Stadium tailgating with the Eagles. I don't run from nothing. I'm here every day dropping videos about Shedeur, and I'm dropping lives. Y'all know my MO. Y'all know my MO. I ain't going nowhere. I ain't went nowhere. But that's what I'm saying. You know, clowns want to try to come in here and hijack your show. That's what they want to do. That's what they want to do. They want to try to come hijack your show. But then you gotta let them know. You gotta let them know, man. Yeah, man. We don't even want to talk. We don't even want to talk about the pass from Shedeur to Jerry Jeudy, man. We all saw it. And the crazy thing about it is, I'm gonna tell you what type of big deal that was. When you got Bleacher Report breaking that as some of their news, how Jerry Jeudy lets the defender take the touchdown away from him. Come on, guys. Bleacher Report did that. I didn't do that. I saw everything I needed to see. They don't want to do that, Lofton 21. They don't want to give Shedeur time, man. They want to pile on right now, man. But hey, it is what it is, man. But we here for it, though. We here for it. I know it's gonna be overreaction Monday. I know they gonna let Shedeur have it. Hey, do what you got to do. But we all know what's going on. We see it. That offensive line is atrocious, man. That offensive line is atrocious. Like, that's why when Shedeur talks about trust, let me tell you guys something. Now that we exposed all the clowns and all the haters, let's have a real conversation. Let's have a real conversation. This is the thing that I'm talking about. Jerry Jeudy got pissed off at Shedeur Sanders for overthrowing him in a football game against the San Francisco 49ers. Shedeur Sanders goes to the podium and talks about trust. The next game, he comes back and he gives Jerry Jeudy a dart against the Tennessee Titans. And Jerry takes it for a touchdown. But outside of that, what has Jerry Jeudy done for the Cleveland Browns and Shedeur Sanders? Absolutely nothing. Watching Jerry Jeudy run routes today, he can't even get open. The only one that gets open for Shedeur Sanders is Harold Fanning Jr. and Isaiah Bond. That's why Isaiah Bond is their downfield threat, and Shedeur Sanders will put it up there to Isaiah Bond. He would have had another one to Isaiah Bond, but Isaiah Bond didn't locate the ball when it was in the air. And then Shedeur Sanders said, okay, I'm locked in on Harold Fanning, and the defense knew that he was locked in. Ben Johnson knew that Shedeur's go-to target is Harold Fanning Jr. So what did they do? They had a man on Harold Fanning, and they had a man underneath, a drop zone. In both picks, that's how it happened. they had a guy disguised dropping back because they know Shedeur's target is Harold Fannin Jr. So that goes to show that these wide receivers cannot get open. Only one getting open is Isaiah Bond and Harold Fanning. This is crazy. And then Shedeur Sanders said, okay, had one-on-one with the corner. Jerry Jeudy, you got to win that route. Shedeur Sanders puts it where only the quarterback can put the ball at, right in your chest. And you let the DB take the touchdown away from you. That goes down on Shedeur Sanders' stats. That goes down as an interception. But we all know what happened. We all know what happened. Jerry Jeudy is just another guy. He's a jag. Steve Smith Sr. was completely right. Jerry Jeudy is just a jag. Just another guy. Like, yeah, look, Shedeur, that's not bothering Shedeur. That's not bothering Shedeur. That's not bothering Shedeur. Ben Johnson, a hell of a coach, knew what the game plan was, trying to get the ball to Harold Fannin. Harold Fannin coming off of 8 catches, 116 yards last week in a TD, knowing the game plan was to get the ball to Harold Fannin. Knowing that they can single cover. They can look, this is how diabolical it is. They single covered all the wide receivers and doubled up on Harold Fannin Jr. Had a man over the top and a man underneath. And you tell me that Jerry Jeudy couldn't get open. And the only other player getting open was Isaiah Bond. Come on, man. Make it make sense, man. Make it make sense. Make it make sense. Hold on one second. Let's go to something real quick. Somebody want me to pull up the press conference. Let me see what we're going to do here. Let me see something here. I'm gonna play the press conference. Let's get it popping. Gonna put this press conference on real quick. All right, let me put this press conference on real quick. Who's at the podium, man? Let me see if I can locate it. We coming up. All right, I'm gonna play the press conference real quick. Let me see. Can't hear that. Can y'all hear that?
And with that, I'll take any questions.
Ready to play.
Yeah, ready to play. Obviously, they had a good return coming out, and then we got backed up there. I felt like the player was on the line, Tony. I was not sure how that didn't get overturned, and then we're backed up inside the one, which is a tough place to start in a game against a good football team.
Can you just assess how you think that Shedeur did? I know there were challenging conditions, offensive line problems, and all things like that.
Yeah, challenging. I mean, it's incomplete till I can look at it, obviously, but I know there's things that we can do better. I know there's things that he can do better. We'll look at it.
Kevin, the offensive line is just in such a state. How difficult is it to get any sort of evaluation on quarterback, offense, anything with the amount of, just the amount of injuries?
Yeah, I think you won't hear excuses from us in terms of who's in there, not in there, those type of things. We trust the guys that are in there. We go to battle with those guys. So we have expectations regardless of who's in there.
Was there something wrong with Sanders' wristband?
Yeah, there was a miscommunication early.
Wow.
They mentioned that you guys had the wrong plays in the wristband on the first two drives. Is that accurate?
No. Yeah. There was something, I don't know if the wristband got something on it or whatever it was, but there was we got that fixed pretty quickly.
And what about the interceptions? Obviously, the second one was not Shedeur's fault, but the other two looked like he just kind of made some poor decisions there.
Yeah, I'd rather look at it, Mary Kay, to give you a more informed
That
answer.
Mary Kay,
that
man.
team is good at taking the ball away, particularly intercepting the ball. So we'll learn from those.
And what about the one that did get ripped out of Jerry Judy's hands? I mean, what can you say about that?
Yeah, obviously we're trying to make a play there. In that moment, trying to get on the board. They're having a good play.
And I know you have told us that Shedeur is the starter for the last 4 games this season. That still holds.
Yes.
Man, Mary Kay, shut your goddamn ass up.
Difficult the Cole made it to operate at times in this game.
Yeah, I think it was the same for both teams. I think we knew what it was going into it. We deal with those elements. Crowd noise is the advantage that the home team has in a game like this.
Can you explain just every week, we're asking about special teams issues. Just why aren't those things getting corrected? It feels like
Yeah, obviously we expect our guys to be able to go out there and perform in some of these situations, and we need to look at it and figure out ways to get guys on the ground and not have the ball coming out. That's obviously when you're playing in a game like this, you're playing a field position game, and we didn't put ourselves in a great spot early.
Kevin, the run game obviously was tough sledding out there, but it seemed like maybe early on it was different. You guys seem to be, going leading more to the pass. Was the game plan to kind of come out throwing a little bit more, or is it kind of game situation?
Yeah, I'd say game flow, game situation, those type of things. But we have to get we all of us have to do a better job to get that run game going.
Overall, how would you assess the pass protection? Because it looked like they were kind of throwing some pressures, and you look they were throwing a lot of pressures. But how would you kind of assess the play?
Yeah, again, hard to give you a good answer right this minute, but until I look at it. But they have a good pressure package. When you get in those pass downs, they do a good job with a lot of their looks, whether they bring guys or drop them, like you mentioned. So felt good about our plan. Obviously, we'll look at it.
Communication between Luke and Shedeur did hold up as was it up to par?
Yeah, I don't think communication was an issue with Luke and Shedeur. They seem to be on the same page.
Shedeur connected with Isaiah on a couple of big plays, but there was one play it looked like did maybe Isaiah not run like more on the inside? The one incompletion, I saw it. Yeah, I wouldn't call it miscommunication. I don't know if he just didn't find the ball. I'm not sure.
Was said maybe not up for like a full game? Did he?
Yeah, obviously it was cleared. Just got.
How is Mary Kay getting all these goddamn questions?
Always be smart about guys that haven't practiced a ton in the week, but knew that he was available to us.
When you consider the offensive line, Cole.
It seems like Mary Kay running this goddamn post-game press conference.
Shedeur had to deal with in this game. Did he show you some things that have you thinking that? Yeah, I'm obviously thinking about just this game and those type of things. He's a young player that is making progress, like we've talked about all week, and I see it in games. I get to see it in practice. There's going to be ups and downs to young players, in particular quarterback position. So we'll learn from it, and we'll be better next week.
Getting them 2 scores early and then 3 in the third.
We only got 3 people in the room, guys.
Do on defense, kind of limit you guys on offense.
I would give them credit. Obviously, they did a great job, but we have to execute better in some areas.
You talk about the ups and downs, and obviously that's the best takeaway defense in the NFL. Do you talk to Sanders about just 364 yards last week? turnovers this week, that up and down.
Particularly to their takeaways, you're saying?
Just the ups and downs, like you did.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, sure. You talk to your quarterback a lot about the opponent you're facing, what they're good at, things that they're going to try to take away. But at the end of the day, you just have to focus on your development in each one of these games. And he's fighting like crazy to try to help us win. Obviously, we came up short. All of us, we came up short. So you learn from it and you apply those lessons in the future.
It seems like they moved Caleb Williams around and moved the pockets, trying to neutralize your pass rush. What did you think what they would do there, and what kind of pressure?
Man, let's listen to what Shedeur got to say, man. I ain't got time for Kevin Stefanski. They asking, Mary Kay is controlling that press conference. Let's listen to Shedeur.
That defense is known for their ability to take the ball away. Like, what did you see out there with the interceptions, and which ones would you think what plays would you maybe like to have back, I guess?
I would like to have majority of plays back for sure. They did a good job in doing what the coach is doing. Shout out to their defense coordinator team. They did a lot of great stuff.
What was it like for you? I mean, you played at Colorado, so I mean, you played at a bunch of cold games. Like, what was it like playing in those conditions? Like, what were the difficulties, and and what did you feel like? What did you feel? How did you feel like you did in those conditions?
Yeah, the conditions not really a big factor. Because thankfully to our staff, we got everything to keep us warm, so everything was smooth.
Isaiah Bond made a couple of nice plays. What did you think his performance here? Are you gaining sort of confidence?
Yeah. We just got to use Isaiah more, for his skill set, for what he's great at, and just keep.
Said use Isaiah more.
Player, and I'm thankful to have him. And thankful to be able to spend time with him.
Where would you? I mean, you've asked similar questions like this throughout your career, but how would you evaluate kind of where you are right now? As an NFL quarterback compared to the beginning of the season, where do you feel like your progress has been, and where do you feel like you still want to go?
I think in every situation, it's always going to be things that you want to work on, things that you want to get better. So I think that's where I'm headed. I'm in the learning and understanding phase. Of this game and how things are.
Shedeur, you knew this was a tough defense in terms of takeaways coming in. What do you think they did to create the pressure and get to the 3 interceptions?
They just had a great defensive scheme, and I enjoyed playing against them. I enjoyed playing in that because it was definitely a little challenge. So I look forward to learning from that and look forward to understanding exactly, how things was on film and. Just be able to learn from it.
Pass to Judy, it was right on the money, and it ends up being intercepted. How disappointing, frustrating was that?
Nah, it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. So, it is what it is.
You see how Shedeur be handling the media, man.
I'm not one to ever
not throwing nobody under the bus.
He understands that's a big play, and I'm sure he's hard on himself. So it's no need for me to be extra and do that.
Wow.
On TV, they mentioned that something happened with your wristband after the first 2 drives.
Oh, no, the car just fell out. Yeah, it just fell out on the sideline. Yeah, that was it.
Yeah, he shut that down real quick.
But to have the ups and downs of having 4 touchdowns last week and 3 picks, how can you handle that and kind of process and move on?
Well, yeah, I'm the same person, regardless. So I still got the same belief, in myself, and I definitely. Like it is every week. You got to get out there, learn from it, play better, and that's it.
Shedeur, the first half didn't go your way, but you guys were in it. Just kind of what was the mindset going into the second half of trying to get some consistency and some.
Yeah, really going into the second half, it was really get things going, and get rolling on offense.
Shedeur, you were able to connect on a couple of those long balls to Isaiah. Just how much are you sort of, you talk about time on task, and how much are you sort of starting to find that connection with them, and how much can that be something to build off of?
No, every rep, everything is something to build off of. It's something that you have to continue to work at and learn and be able to understand with each game, understand the different speeds, understand, talk to them about we got to play a little faster right here, So it's just a lot of different variables you have to go into each game with, so you got to learn from them.
Is it hard to?
Nah.
If you already answered this, you don't answer it again, but
It was just hard for us to get in the rhythm. That's all it was.
how would you just assess or sum up your own game? How did you feel about the
Mary Kay.
today?
Oh, we got a loss, so I didn't do good. So that's what sums it up.
When you got into those, when the offense got to those third,
Man, Mary Kay is a savage.
I'm sure you want to feel that maybe giving you guys some trouble to execute.
Everything they showed on film, we just failed to execute. That's it. That's on me. I got to be able to get us, in the right situations and get the ball out of my hand.
What happened with the?
Oh yeah, she has. Yeah, it just fell out.
You played in cold weather games before. What ways does that impact you on the field?
I spent 2 years in Colorado, and it gets pretty cold in Mississippi at the back end of the year, so it's the same.
What did you learn most from this game each week? I know you're picking up new things, learning things. What was your takeaway from this game?
I just want to pause there for 1 second. El Hombre, another clown, has entered the chat. Coming here talking about 3 picks in one game. Dylan had 2 picks all season. Because Dylan Gabriel never threw the ball to anybody. When you throw the ball on the turf each time, you're not going to get it picked. So another clown has been coming in here giving clown takes. Another clown that's hiding behind a keyboard, another keyboard hoe, and you see what happens. Send him off to Block City. Haters won't be tolerated. Send him to Block City. Banish him for life. Let's continue.
Biggest takeaway from the game, well, I gotta like decompress, and understand, everything that just transpired for real. So I just showered, I just did everything I could to get ready to come in here. And then I'll be able to watch it and be able to understand, but it's a lot of different things you could think and everything. But the main thing is, decompress, chill, and be able to learn from it,
Sure, I apologize if you've answered this already, but the offensive line, I mean, just so many relatively new faces. I mean, Garrett has to come in and for Devin, it's just as a quarterback playing behind so many guys kind of rotating in up front. How
that's nothing you could control. You can't look at that. You can't focus on that. That's an uncontrollable thing, and I'm sure everybody that went in and out, I'm sure they didn't want to be hurt, so that's a part of life.
Sure. Kevin said he's sticking with you after the game, even though, we knew you were going to finish out the season, but, he just kind of reiterated.
Man, take the mic away from Mary Kay Cabot.
Kind of put this one behind you. How does it feel to know that you are going to be able to go out there and do this again?
Yeah, well, he said that kind of last week, so I don't know.
You're not worried about losing your job or anything like that when he says something like that?
What league we in? Yeah, you can lose your job at any point in time. So you don't play with fear. When you live and play in fear, then you'll never be yourself. So I don't play or live in fear. Whatever situation I'm in. Whatever happens, it happens. But I live each moment and try to live each day to the fullest. So never live in worry or fear.
The biggest problem with the running game just being down 14-0 right from the start, or the changes on the offensive line that you can't control. What affected the running game more? Do you think?
Oh, I'm not sure. Yeah, honestly, I don't know how to answer that. I'm not sure.
They asking him questions to try to see if he gonna throw the people under the bus.
I just gotta get us out of that situation. Then now open up the run. Appreciate you.
Hey, you guys heard what Shedeur Sanders had to say, man. They was trying to ask Shedeur Sanders questions and try to see if they could throw him under the bus. They wanted Shedeur to throw his team under the bus, man. They wanted Shedeur to throw his team under the bus, but he wouldn't do it. Great way to hold your composure. Great way to respond. And Shedeur's not making no excuses, man. Yeah, but look, check this out, man. Appreciate y'all coming up. Appreciate y'all showing up and showing out, blocking all the haters out. But look, you're going to have haters when you're doing something great. Shedeur Sanders is doing something great, so you're going to have haters. That's just like me in the chat. We doing something great, and we're going to have haters. And you see what they tried to do. All the clowns came up in here, but you see what happened? As a team, spearheaded by me in the chat, we controlled the clowns. We exposed the clowns, and then we dispersed of the clowns. We got them up out of here. That's all it's going to take. Because y'all in the chat, y'all give great football analogies. Y'all talk great football. Y'all know what it is. The clowns don't know what it is. Clowns and keyboard hoes will get exposed. I want y'all to think about that. Clowns and keyboard hoes will get exposed. And that's what we did today. So our job is done for the day. Because this is what they wanted to do. They waited until we fired up a live to come in here and try to clown and hijack the show. But you see what happened? I had time today. See, I really don't, sometimes I really don't get sidetracked and get knocked off of my agenda. But this is why I fired the live up, because I knew this is what it was going to happen. Because last week, we had none of this last week. We had none of this last week. So they waited. That's like, I'm going to give y'all this analogy. Y'all going to laugh. But I got to say this. I got to put this out there, man. We grown. So let me talk about it. We grown. I'm going to put this out there and then I'm going to leave. This is almost like, say you with your girl. And this is what the haters do. They got that pre-ejaculation before they explode. And that's what they waited for. They had that pre-ejaculation last week and they didn't bust. So this week, they finally got the bust, and you see what happened. That's why I call them clowns and keyboard hoes, and they will be exposed. So I appreciate everybody that tuned in. I appreciate everybody that tuned in. I appreciate everybody that loved the content. Make sure y'all drop a like on the video. Make sure y'all hype the video up if you get a chance. And make sure y'all do the wet dream. Make sure when y'all get a chance to watch these videos, man, when y'all go in there, make sure y'all do me a favor. Don't just like the video. If you get a chance, man, hype up all my videos, man. Hype up all my videos. We trying to put all this stuff out in the stratosphere, man. Exactly, Unity. They come and we expose them, man. We expose them. And that's why we put them to Block City and we ban them for life. So I appreciate you guys that tuned in. Much love to everybody. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday. And this is going to wrap up another episode of the Simply Ball Dropping Podcast. I'm your host and the man behind the mic, K-Sap. We're going to catch you on the next one. Deuces.
Thanks for listening to the Simply Ball Dropping Podcast. Be sure to subscribe, like, and share on all major platforms.